Central Standard Time, of course. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because we live in the heart of America, Oklahoma. You can listen to us here on The Wire by going online to wire.ou.edu. That again is wire.ou.edu. You can also listen to us on livestream.com/TheWireOU. But we would really like you guys to come download the TuneIn Radio app on your smartphone device, or you can go on tunein.com. Search in the search bar Your Student Radio, and you will find our station. So make sure to go download that app. Please also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Our Facebook is facebook.com/ThisAndThatWire. That again is This and That Wire, not and, but N. Our Twitter handle is @ThisAndThatWire, and you feel free to email us thisandthatwire@gmail.com. There's a lot of this and that's. This and that and this and that and this and that and this and that.
There's a lot of The Wire, too.
You can also follow Jeremy and I on our individual Twitter handles. Jeremy is @JIV3.
Easy one to remember.
JIV3. Mine is @Meena, MEENAGH. So make sure to follow us. Please give us a Facebook like. Download the TuneIn Radio app. All that cool stuff here on This and That. Jer, how are you doing today?
Man, I made it this far.
So I like to hear. Do you have anything interesting happen over the weekend?
No, I worked through most of the weekend. Sunday was a great day to sit back and relax. I should have went out and mowed grass, but,
Oh, so you got the lawnmower.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. The new one?
Yeah. It's fun. But, again, I've just been busy all week with the Texas game, which was crazy, winning like that.
Yeah,
it's a W, though.
I brought my dad to Norman to show him where I worked, and the game we were up like 31-13. So then we went to McGinley's down at Main Street, or McNally's, excuse me. McGinley's is the old one from Alaska. We went to McNally's, and it's 31-26, and I was like, how did Texas score so fast? Luckily, we won, and I got to wear the Golden Cowboy hat, which was really cool.
I keep seeing everybody, all the co-workers, pictures with that.
Yeah, they put the trophy in one of our boss's offices, and he's like, yeah, go ahead, take pictures of it. So it's a lot of fun. I did not have a good weekend, I guess you could say. Friday, I worked 17 hours. Woke up at the crack of dawn. We had to go, and me and another coworker had to go shoot the women's softball triathlon, which was like at 9 in the morning.
Where was that at?
They started off at the softball complex.
Yeah.
Then they went over to the pool right off of Asp, the little pool complex. They'd swam 16 laps. Then they ran to the men's football practice field, and they had a whole ordeal of CrossFit things they had to do, like push-ups, box jumps, jump rope, weightlifting, and all this stuff. Then they had to run to Highway 9 and back.
From where?
They had to
from the pool?
From the men's football practice field all the way to Highway 9 to the softball field. And it was kind of cool. We were on a little golf cart following these girls. We gave one of them a GoPro, and they were swimming in it, and it was actually really cool. Then we had a soccer game at 7 that night, but that was the day of all the rain. So we ended up having a 3-hour rain delay, and the game got canceled at halftime, 1-0. So they're going to replay that game this Sunday at 1. And as well, we have a volleyball game tonight at 7.
Go Julia. That's my girl.
Julia Doyle?
Yeah.
She's my girl, too.
Yeah.
She doesn't know that. And this week is homecoming for the Sooners for football. We have an 11 o'clock game. We're playing Kansas State.
Yeah, I'll be working that one. So all you students out there, remember the Jib Cam, the Indian guy helping out with that? That's me.
If you see any cool highlights on the big screen, that is me. But I will not be
and
around.
All the listeners at home, just remember that I'm the fan cam that goes into the crowd. That's me. Yeah.
So we also like to point out, if you are a musician or in a band in the Oklahoma City Metro,
just an artist of any sort,
let us know. We are always looking for talented musicians to provide us insight on the music scene in the area. And plus, Jeremy and I were big advocates of local music, local art, local innovations of any kind. So please let us know. Tell your friends. Keep on doing what you're doing. Today we have members of the band Speak Memory in the booth with us. They will be on a little bit later to talk about some cool things like I think it was nuclear bomb disarmament, advanced nuclear physics, things of that nature. Hopefully they know what they're talking about because I don't know anything about that. So they'll be on it a little bit to talk about cool things. But overall, it's been an interesting few days. I shaved my beard. If you're looking at our live feed right now on our wire.ou.edu,
Yeah, he's got that.
you can see my mustache.
He's got the crazy mustache on.
I'm going to be a bare knuckle boxer for Halloween.
And that's acceptable for having that mustache because, like I told you yesterday, I'm like,
Yeah,
Then you explained, hey, it's for Halloween.
As soon as Halloween's over, it'll be gone.
I mean, if you have a mustache like that, you got to have the rest of the attire to go with it.
I bought some suspenders at Party Galaxy the other day.
Do you have knickers?
I'm gonna go find some.
Oh, man.
Like hand sewn from a lady who lived in a small town, kind of thing.
Cool, dude. Cool.
Do you have any idea what you're gonna be for Halloween?
I'm working, so unfortunately I can't be anything other than a faithful employee of Island Grill.
You could put like a headdress on.
I thought about going like a hazmat suit, but I was like, man, it's hot. And then I was like, oh wait, it's really cold in that control room. So
I wonder if a lot of people
still do that.
I wonder if a lot of people were wearing those hazard suits at the football game or at the fair in Dallas because of the Ebola ordeal.
Man, I'm telling you, that's scary.
Yeah, I was about to say. If you guys are keeping count, the tally's at 12. So I'm telling you. Every time Jeremy says, I'm telling you, you take a drink.
Of your coffee, of your orange juice, of whatever beverage that you have.
It's going to be an early game this Saturday. We got call times at 6 for us.
I know. I'll be there.
So it's going to be 5 o'clock for me. So.
But hopefully that means we get out of there earlier, too.
And, yeah, and go watch the Notre Dame game. Because they're playing
Because
Florida State.
last time we got there at 10 o'clock and didn't get out of there till like 11 or 12. So
in the afternoon or at night, yeah.
So it's one of those things. I don't know, man. So what else did you do this weekend other than work? Anything else?
Not really. I worked.
You didn't go to any good music venues or any?
I haven't been in a while. I have 4 concerts.
You're slacking.
I have 4 concerts I'm going to.
How are we supposed to have these awesome guests when you're slacking like that?
Well, we have awesome guests. We always do because we're this and that. Dang it.
All the time. We can always bring Carlos and Jesse back in. That was fun.
We can bring back anybody. We can bring back Bronco.
Hey, speaking of bringing back people, I believe that Miss Yinny would like to come back.
Audra Yinny.
And she's psyched about it. Ain't that right, Audra?
Well, if she would let me be her drummer, I might consider her to come back on our show.
Yeah, she's a good girl. Good people.
I'm not on her band.
I like that little whatever y'all got going on there, that little head bumping.
I just want to be the drummer. I have a drum set in my apartment that I can't play. Speaking of which, I couldn't sleep last night. My deaf neighbors, they were playing some kind of video game with explosions of cannons and machine guns.
You should go down there next time that happens with a little sign with like a exclamation point, hashtag sign, @ symbol, and like a question mark. Just hold it up outside the window.
No, it's funny because they knocked on my door the other day and
they'd be like, Qbert.
For those of you who don't know, the people that live below me are deaf.
Did you guys get that one?
They're a young couple, probably around my age, and they always have their window open, and they always have friends over, and they're always signing with one another. And like I wave at them, and they wave at me. But the other day, they actually knocked on my door, and the gentleman there, he had his phone, he was texting, and he showed me, and he said, "Are you in photography?" Because he saw me with a DSLR camera a few weeks prior. So I took his phone and I said, "No, I shoot video. I'm a cameraman." And he goes, "Oh, okay, cool," in text form, obviously. And he says his name is Seth and his girlfriend's name is Kristen, and they wanted to be my friends. But I thought they were drug dealers for the longest time. I didn't know they were deaf.
True story, man.
Because when they first moved in, they'd have people knocking on their doors at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
And their Keegan is like creeping on him with his ear to his floor, trying to listen in on him.
Well, 3 to 4 times a week, there's people knocking constantly, 2, 3 in the morning. That's the sign of suspicious activity. People trying to get their fix. That was my implication. So
yeah. Well, also remember, what was that sound?
Oh,
see, dude, there's a lot of things
I learned not to assume
and that's good
anymore.
Because that means you lived a nice, sheltered life.
And then there was all these signs that I noticed. For example, he was selling his truck, and his truck had his phone number on it, but it said text only. And then I noticed he had a doorbell, a weird-looking doorbell.
None of the other apartments have doorbells in that place.
Turns out that doorbell was to flicker the lights to let people know that they were at the door. So one time it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and there's just somebody knocking on their door.
Beating on it.
I go down there. It's a guy I've never seen before. I said, "Hey man, what's up?" And he goes, he can read lips, and he goes, "I'm deaf." And I was like, "Oh, is everybody here deaf?" And he's like, "Yeah." So it all clicked. It was like, oh, text only because he can't answer the phone, the doorbell. All these things make sense now. So for like 5 months, 6 months, I kind of just let them do what they wanted to do. And they finally came and talked to me. So I'm interested now in learning sign language.
Hey, you could have took that for a second language.
I could have.
Totally. And that's one of the easier things to do because there's no, like, conjugating.
There's no 7 thes.
They're not allowed to conjugate.
So I had I try to use my impromptu charade skills to talk to them. Like I'm telling them I was driving to the gym.
I bet you your name is this.
No, they did. I showed them what my name was.
Yeah, no. Like the hearing impaired people, like whatever characteristic you have, that's what your name is.
Mustache. Man with hair on upper lip.
Mine was that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they just did all the letters. The K,
yeah, well, behind your back, they're like
GAN.
They're like. For you guys that are watching, I'm sorry.
He did a limped wrist.
Limp wrist.
Limped wrist or limp wrist?
Limp wrist. You need to run it together as one word.
1, 2, 3. Limp wrist.
Limp wrist. Speaking of limp wrists, one of our old colleagues I got to run into, and then she got run into by some football players. Miss Abigail Forrest.
She got hit by football players?
Yeah, on the sideline.
She got hit on?
Sideline.
She
got run over.
They're like, "Hey, girl, what's your number?"
She got run over. Yeah, it was crazy, man. And I didn't even see it because I was busy doing my job.
What is she doing there?
UCO, man.
I understand, but
she's going to school.
But why was she at the game?
Because D dragged her out. I seen her. She looked like she wasn't happy to be there. And then she gets run over by. Remember what Skipper always said? Keep your other eye open when you're holding the camera.
Unless you're Keegan, because you're blind in one eye. And she's like 5'6", 90 pounds, give or take. So she's a small girl.
I know. Well, she ended up going to the hospital, so I hope everything was okay with her. But she did. Everybody said, ooh, and then I didn't even know. And then a little bit later over the comm, I hear, hey, your friend, D. Wright said your friend got run over. And I was like, who? And then they put 1 and 2 together. It's poor Abby.
So, we're going to have Speak Memory come talk to us. We have their songs available that we're going to be playing right now. This song is my favorite song off their album. This song is called Selfish. And hopefully our ordeal with the camera we've had problems with our music player. It'll play like the first few seconds of the song.
I found that what that was. It's because you're not using you're clicking on the.
No, I even with A.
Yeah, after we started clicking on the thing.
Okay, so we're going to try it.
Not yet. Man, we got to do weather, dude.
We got to do weather?
Yeah.
We got to do weather. It's getting cold, though. I am liking this brisk, chill weather. It's legging season.
Well, if you like the brisk, chill weather, you might not like what's coming up because it's going to be some really awesome autumn weather with some 80s coming up. Despite the fact that it's going to be mostly sunny. You know what that means? It'll also be partly cloudy. But today, it's going to be a high of 76 with a low of 50. Winds out of the north-northwest at 5 miles per hour. So that means the winds will be pretty chill, and that's what's keeping the weather temperatures down. But tomorrow, Thursday, looks like it's going to be a high of 85 with a low of 55, mostly sunny. That's what I was talking about, the 80s. So it's going to be some awesome autumn weather. Followed by Friday with a high of 77, low of 55. And, again, these are the north winds coming in, cooling everything down. On Saturday, high of 71, low of 51. And Sunday, it'll be sunny again with a high of 75 and a low of 56. Be a great chance for everybody to get out and, do their last-minute yard work and, maybe harvest some veggies, some everything. But you're listening to this and that on The Wire. I
told you it would.
It's because you added all those songs. I'm just kidding.
For some reason. Any second now.
Let's count the seconds.
5,
2, 8,
7,
12,
8.
15.
There we go. Speak Memory. This song is Selfish.
The Wire.
Keegan and Jeremy on the wire. This and that. Listen online.
A man with not so much of a sweet soul.
And many talents.
Oh, man. Stephen Thorne, thanks so much for doing that little intro. That song was Selfish by Speak Memory. We have Tim from Speak Memory on the show. Tim, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you doing, Keegan?
I'm doing great. Thanks for so much for coming on the show. You are the first band that actually contacted us to come on the show. So you guys couldn't come, I guess, was it 2 weeks ago? Had to reschedule.
Yeah.
But, hey, we're glad you guys are here. And apparently your bass player slept in.
Yeah, he slept in. Hoping he should be here any minute now, but, sometimes I have to tell him to get somewhere 20 minutes early from the actual time he needs to be here. So it's punctuality.
I used to be like that. Not so much anymore. Now, if in this industry, if you're late, you're fired. So
Yeah.
if you're not early, then you're late.
I actually had this crazy dream the other night. For some reason, I'm having crazy dreams involving my radio show. You guys came on, but one of you guys were tripping on acid.
Really?
In my dream. This is not real. This is one of you guys kept tripping on acid and started just like going everywhere, grabbing microphones and jumping on the table. And I was like, what is going on? But this is weird because every time we have like a band come on, I'm having these weird dreams about my show getting destroyed by the band.
You heard it here first. His show. I'm just a part of it.
Acid-induced dreams of destroying my radio show. My show and Jeremy's show.
No, it's
I'm
just
just
his
kidding.
show.
So
I'm just here to push buttons.
I found your album on Bandcamp.
How did you find him, Keegan?
Well,
just Bandcamp, or was you listening to his show?
To be honest with you, I went on our Gmail account, and it's like, hey, we're really interested in coming on your show, and I went on their Facebook. Their Facebook had a link to their Bandcamp, and I really liked it. I'm really into like math rock, post rock, and it's got a cool post rock sound. If you guys don't know, it's like an instrumental kind of sound. So I was impressed. I was like, wow, we're gonna have these guys on our show. Oh, cool. So awesome job with the album. I have to say, I've been listening to it like nonstop for the past few weeks.
Oh,
So
yeah, you said you're originally from California when we were speaking earlier. How did you? I always got to ask anybody that I meet from outside of Oklahoma. How'd you end up in Oklahoma?
Well, I didn't have much of a choice. I was 7 at the time that I moved out to Oklahoma.
Okay.
But my dad, he used to work for the U.S. Post Office, and he had a better position offered whenever the offer to move out here came into fruition. Because when we were living out in California, he was working the overnight shift, so he would work overnight and sleep during the day. So he wanted to have the opportunity to where he could spend time with his kids before they grow up. So
my dad was a federal employee too. He worked out at Tinker, and he did the same thing. He like most of the time, like he was getting home by the time we were leaving for school and stuff. So I understand. So you moved out here. Where'd you move to? Where was your first spot that you landed in Oklahoma?
South Oklahoma City, right by OCCC.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Not too shabby.
And
did you go to Westmore or Capitol Hill or Grant or?
Well,
I'm sorry, Capitol Hill. Grant.
Well, we only lived at that house for maybe a couple of months, and then we moved to a house in Moore. So basically lived and went to school in Moore.
Westmore, Moore High School.
Moore High School.
Oh, there you go. He went to Moore.
Oh, sweet.
97, man.
Nice.
So how'd you get into music? You're the guitarist of the band. How'd you start playing guitar?
Self-taught, really. I guess with any musician who kind of plays in the rock genre of sorts, like Green Day, Blink-182 were my first introduction to wanting to play music and everything, and then from there, you kind of like read interviews with those bands and see what bands they're into, and you look into those bands, and it just kind of went from there. So I don't know, I was kind of all over the place whenever I started to learn how to play guitar, because I think right before I got into like punk rock, hardcore music, I was really into R&B, so Blackstreet, Boyz II Men.
Isn't that weird? I think I remember it was a more thing because it was that time of that era, you know.
Yeah.
I was listening to a bunch of punk and everything too. It was Minor Threat. And,
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of all the other ones, No Effects and whatnot. But I remember those.
Yeah, I
days.
grew up listening to progressive
Skateboarding.
rock from the 70s. I swore to myself I wouldn't listen to any music from my time.
Or
I didn't really
Sheena
like
E.
it, but then after a while I kind of caved in, kind of listened to
I feel like it's almost a
post-hardcore.
job nowadays keeping up with all the new genres and all the new styles. I mean, like, I love music. There's not one genre that I don't like. I mean, there's some I got a little disdain for, but you know, for the most part, I like all music. And from what I hear, you guys have some really great music that I've listened to. You know,
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, we will post Speak Memories Facebook as well as their Bandcamp on our page. So make sure to go on our Facebook, facebook.com/thisandthatwire to find out more.
yeah, and give them the thumbs up as well as us.
So how'd you guys? First off, how did you guys form this band?
Well, it's kind of a complicated history, even though we didn't start until 2011. But originally started off with a different lineup. So it was this guy Grant, who now plays drums for Headbutt, and a bass player, Bartiz, who eventually ended up moving to Washington, D.C. But we started the band that way. But came across an ad Grant posted where he listed all of these bands that I was into, so like American Football, Rooftops, Toe. And I was like, oh, this is weird because, you know, it's not, you know, especially in this state, it's not every day you come across a musician that's into that stuff. So it's like, I got to see what's going on. And, you know, we jammed. And for the first couple of months or so, it was just like jamming. So, like, I was playing these chords, like looping things together and everything. And it wasn't until, you know, a little bit after that I started writing the songs that would eventually be the basis for the EP. And then things happen, as does with every band, where, you know, musicians or members have a falling out with each other. So we didn't play for about a year, and then I got in touch with my friend JT, who is a drummer who we played in a band before, and started playing the songs together. And Selfish was actually one of the first songs that we wrote with one another. So he's like a co-writer on that song. So we did that, and then reconnected with our bass player Cameron, who I hadn't seen in a while. Like, I knew he had a kid and everything, but I didn't know if he was still pursuing music or anything like that. But come to find out, he actually was started to play bass, I think, back in 2009, 2010, which he was originally a drummer. He still is a drummer, but he hasn't played the drums in a while because he's in an apartment. So, but he was like, "Can I jam out with you guys sometime?" And it's like, "Yeah, sure." So, jammed out a few times. You know, got a good vibe, and you know, found the what is the new lineup for Speak Memory.
And how'd you guys come up with that name? You said it was from a Russian author, or?
Yes. I wish I knew how to pronounce his name, but his autobiography is called Speak Memory, and basically what it's about is him recalling memories from whenever he was a child up until him being a college student. So it just kind of him reminiscing about, you know, some of the important events in his life, and I figured that made sense to go with that name, mainly because a lot of the songs that I've written, and I have lyrics for the songs, we can get into that in a little bit, but it's recalling, you know, things from the past that mean a lot to me, that I always try to hang on to, you know, as a means to, you know, not forget or anything of that nature. So probably a bad explanation, but that's kind of where I got the name from. And
It is a one-off name, and I like it. I mean,
Yeah. Is it so? It's Speak with a comma Memory. So it's like
Yeah.
Speak Memory.
yeah, it's like Speak Memory, you know,
Speak
kind
Memory.
of
it's like Speak Memory.
I was thinking it came
Dang
from the
it.
Speakeasy down. Like speak easy, speak memory.
Speak easy memory.
So you mentioned you like American football. I love American football. I don't know if you know they're actually playing again.
Oh yeah, no, I'm on top of that.
Oh yeah, and you like Toe, Japanese band Toe. I like Toe as well. What other influences or bands do you like that I might actually like and know? I'm a big into that kind of genre of music as well.
Well, I'll separate it from like influences and bands I like currently. Influences. Robert Fripp from King Crimson. Jay Robbins, Jawbox, Marine Airlines, Khaki King, Mike Kinsella, of course, and not necessarily a particular guitar player, but my all-time favorite band is this band called Roadside Monument, which is like a old school Tooth and Nail Records band from like the mid to late 90s.
Roadside Monument?
Yep.
I'll have to look them up later.
Mm-hmm. Like I Am the Day of Current Taste is my favorite album of all time. I can listen to that from front to back. Bands I like currently, been listening to a lot of Tiny Moving Parts. What else?
Well, I've been listening to a lot of. I don't know if you ever heard of Adebisi Shank.
Oh yeah.
They're from Ireland. This Town Needs Guns, obviously. It's a big math rock band. There's a math rock band from Chicago called the Paramedics, which is kind of a small band. They're on a little record. A lot of the West Coast, like post-hardcore, Dance Gavin Dance.
Oh yeah.
A lot like Birds, Stolas, Strawberry Girls. The Speed of Sound and Seawater, which is a math rock band from California that actually came down here. Welcome to Limerick is a good one. That's a bunch of cool ones that I like.
I was gonna say, speaking of Dance Gavin Dance, I actually like that lead vocalist, the clean vocalist. He used to sing for a band called Tides of Man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tillian Pearson. Mm-hmm. They're actually going to be in Tulsa next month. I'm actually going to plan on going to that show.
Nice.
So I'm a big Dance Gavin Dance fan. Tillian, Tides of Man was a great band. They're actually a post-rock band now. They don't have a singer anymore.
Yeah, they're still kicking it. Pretty. I think they've only come to Oklahoma City one time. That was like 4 years ago or something. But
I don't think they're planning on coming back anytime soon.
Probably not.
The Sound of Animals Fighting. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Oh yeah.
They're a great band. It's like a super group bands like from RX Bandit, Circus Survive, Finch, all these cool groups of people. Locally, who do you like? I'm a big fan of the Hit Boys. I know you've played with the Hit Boys. I loved Giraffe Massacre when they were still around. And also the band, who am I thinking of? Headbutt, yeah. And you mentioned Grant. He was in your band prior to that. Any local guys you really, really admire?
Well, the show that we played at with the Hit Boys,
I was going to go to that show. I'm sorry I didn't go. I promised I was going to go. I couldn't.
It's all good. But, there was a band that played that night called Foxboroughs, who I'd say they're my favorite band, favorite local band at the moment. I don't know how to describe them exactly, but they just have, a really nice sound and, different. You can tell, they have, a bunch of different influences combined into one. So I'd say they're my favorite. And Hit Boys are a favorite. And actually, I should probably say they go unnoticed a couple of times. My favorite, Train Dodge, who they've been around since 1996, 1997, still kicking it to this day. And I'd say that's also another influence of mine. When it comes to playing guitar, is Train Dodge, and I'm become good friends with the guitar player for that band, Jason.
So somebody just showed up.
Somebody did show up.
Hi, Radioland.
Would you like to introduce yourself? Welcome to our show.
Absolutely. Cameron Ferguson, bass player, Speak Memory. I am the last member of the current lineup to join, and so this is an effective metaphor. But, yeah.
Well, welcome to our show. It's okay for being late. Apparently, Tim had to wake you up by calling you.
Hey, late to OU. It's like I never left this place.
So you actually went here before?
Yeah, I was in college about the same time as Tim. I don't know if he gave you his background, but spent some time here learning history and English literature, and I just can't quit it.
So we were just talking about your guys' musical influences, bands you like. Do you have any influences that go with Speak Memory that you are a fan of?
Well, I mean, as far as things that influence my playing, I kind of come from an unlike background. I mean, Tim and I have been in bands since we were in high school together, so a lot of that goes into this, but this is the first time I've played bass for Tim. I've been drumming mostly throughout my life, so what influences me, I mean, I'm really into 60s pop and just like soul music, rock. That kind of comes out in my playing because, you know, if the way our arrangements are is a clock, you know, Tim and JT both play a lot of notes. It's like the second and the minute hand in a big clock, and so, you know, someone's got to be the hour hand, keep things spaced out, and so I just, you know, I try to fill space, offer counterpoint, you know, counter melody like that, and so. You know, Motown, James Jamerson and Bob Babbitt are huge influences on me. Kenny Forsey of the band Love. And then in a more modern sense, like Scott Bekta from the original Promise Ring and Jeremy Chatelaine, who played bass for Jets to Brazil. People might know him better as the lead singer for Handsome, but you know, that's kind of what I came up on coming out of high school.
And where'd you go to high school?
Norman High, as it were.
For some reason, there was some kind of connection between like Motown soul music and Moore High School, right, Jer? we had a double check on that one.
Soul music.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
R&B.
R&B. I don't
it's
know
all
Motown.
the same. It's like it's all soulful.
No, it was just that era. I mean, like they had all kinds of. Was it Keith Sweat? And
Oh, man.
what's that? R. Kelly.
Yeah.
My mind's telling me no.
But my body's telling me yes.
Have
No,
you
that
guys,
was just the whole era.
have you guys heard of Black Panties, his newest album?
No.
It's pretty tight.
Yeah,
Is it tight?
Yeah, I mean,
The black panties are kind of tight.
literally.
Yeah, the black panties are tight. Yeah.
But we also mentioned local bands that you're fans of. He mentioned he likes Foxboroughs. I guess you guys played with them in the Hit Boys. And I'm sorry, I was supposed to go to that show. I didn't go.
Oh, come on.
That's all right.
You could have just been 30 minutes late. Apparently, that's my norm.
I could have been 30.
No, yeah, Foxboroughs
Yeah, he just
are
went up
great.
to Key.
I loved their set when I caught it. Hit Boys, we have a lot of common with.
Oh, so you missed part of their set.
No.
Were you 30 minutes late for that? too?
He was there the whole time.
I was on the early side to that show.
Oh,
son.
okay.
When the sun goes down, I'm very punctual. But you know, in terms of bands that we kind of share a little bit of a vibe with locally. I really like Himalayas right now. A friend of mine, Mike Kugel, plays drums for them, and I mean, I know I walked into Tim talking about Train Dodge, so I got to give those guys some love. They've been really good to us when they've been in town and wanting to put shows together. I also personally know and also really enjoy the music of Dear People. Indian Giver lately have been putting out some really strong material, and I'm friends with a few of those guys as well. It's just it's a really eclectic scene in the city, and so I love making shows. But you know, Norman's treated us really well when we've been down here too, and there have been countless bands at like Dope Chapel,
Yeah,
and
Dope Chapel.
Industrial Skate Park that we've been able to share some time with that have, you know, really caught my attention, caught my interest.
I have noticed a lot of people that show up to local shows are in other bands, and then they show you other bands, and then all you guys know each other because everybody goes to everybody else's show, which is kind of cool. I know, like, I've been to Dope Chapel a few times, and that's a great place here in Norman. Opolis, I've never been to Opolis, even though it's right next to Dope Chapel. I always want to go.
They bring in a lot of national acts, and that's a real credit to them, especially, since Andy and Marion are themselves from the Starlight Mints, and they've run that venue for, like, God, a decade at this point plus. So, like, when I was going to school down here and living down here, I was at Opolis constantly, And I don't know. I mean, like, it's really cool just to think you're going to see a show and you're interested in what's on the bill, and then by way of being there, you start talking to people. They're in bands, you know, maybe they have some material on the internet, maybe they have influences they want to talk to you about. It's a nice kind of like boil up, like a melting pot, if you will.
Yeah, because when I first moved here in 2011, I moved back. I lived in Alaska. And I moved back, and I thought the only music really anybody played here was country music, red dirt country music, Western, you know, folk music. I didn't think there was like any kind of rock music.
He thought we still had horses.
TPs, all that ordeal. Nah. But I went and saw This Town Needs Guns at the ACM UCO Performance Lab, and the Hit Boys opened up for them, and then I was just open to this whole world of underground music here in the city, and I just found band after band after band, and I mentioned that you guys are actually the first band to contact us to come on our show, which is kind of cool. And we've been listening to Value to Survival. We just listened to Selfish, and it's just like, it's cool with, you know, the internet and all this stuff, how we can listen to all these songs from bands that are here locally. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, and the internet makes the world kind of a small place too, so you're not struggling to find interesting music. It's just a matter of like, what do you want to hear today?
So you mentioned you guys have a show at the skate park on what day?
The 24th.
October 24th. Do you have any other shows? Anything else? Anything cool? Upcoming song? Have anything? Anything cool?
Well, haven't discussed this with the guys yet. Been asked about playing a show November 8th in Shawnee. But so that's tentative. But usually that's a yes. But
on the record, listenership, this is the first I've heard of said show.
That's why I said tentative. As far as, and we actually have a new song that we've been playing for the last couple of months. It's just kind of a matter of going back into the studio again and recording it. Kind of would like to write one more new song and then maybe do like a 2-song, you know, like split or something.
So where did you guys record this album at? Because it's really good quality. I know that a lot of bands, it's kind of like half good quality, and there's a lot of like lo-fi, did it in your basement kind of quality. Where'd you guys record this one at?
Well, Cold Frame Studios up in Oklahoma City. Our producer, Henry McMinn, runs that place. It's kind of in his garage / second house. He's got like a guest house in his backyard, but for the size of the setup, he gets an incredible fidelity, and you know, he's really knowledgeable about the equipment, the, you know, mics and the interfaces he uses, and he's also something of an editing wizard. We had a few instances where that came in real handy. I recently read a review of Value to Survival on the internet, and the reviewer thought the sound was like so immediate and tight that we'd all recorded our tracks together, basically just miking the room. And that's a real tribute to how well, you know, that went and how well Henry managed the process. But I don't feel like he gets enough credit in terms of like us talking about what he did on our EP, and you know, I can't let that stand.
And it does sound really, really cool. It does. When you brought that up, it does sound like you guys all played at one time. But overall, it's cool stuff. So, Jer,
You know what also sounds really, really cool?
some funny news stories?
Well, I don't know about funny, but technology has once again incited a physical alteration, and it's a bird, it's a plane. Well, we'll tell you what it is after we come back from this break. You're listening to This and That.
What's this song called? I can't pronounce this word. Blue
Jacarandas, Lavender Skies.
Blue Jacarandas.
Which, if you've ever seen What Dreams May Come, like it's a nod to that. So.
Tribute to Robin Williams. So hopefully the song will fade out again like it always does. So, Jared, try it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, you're listening to This and That on The Wire.
Give it a sec. Give it a sec. Will we make it? I think we made it.
It's the show that ruins your college experience.
Keegan and Jeremy, you guys suck.
This and That on The Wire, your student radio. I love that one.
That's one of my favorite ones. That and the other one we did with the pig and the blood and the.
Yeah, thank you, Lyra.
We love you, Lyra. Is she listening today or is she working?
She's trying to listen. She's again, Wednesday's her busiest day, so no telling. Hopefully she's not, because I always feel self-conscious when my woman listens.
My parents listen, so sometimes I gotta worry as well. So on to the news.
Yeah, before we left, I told you about some technology inciting a physical altercation. Well, this all happened and took place when Albania and Serbia faced off for what was already an ethnically charged match between the two former Yugoslav states. Both were vying for qualification in the European Championships, but thanks to a rogue drone, the game didn't even get past the second half. The Guardian reports that what appears to be a remote-controlled quadcopter trailing the Greater Albanian flag flew over the field during gameplay, and what you see on our page is what followed. So make sure you click on the link. It shows the video where the drone flies into the match, and the other team doesn't like it too much, so they decide to I think it was a Serbian player attempted to take it down, which prompted several rival Albanians to attack him. So the brawl wasn't even like the hooligans. It was the actual players themselves, and the match was called off. So,
Have they ruled out Bane being behind this?
When my chopper reaches the field, then you have my permission to die. It looks like a spider from the picture that's on our Facebook. It looks like Spider-Man shooting at it. Doesn't that look like a spider web?
It does.
Wow.
It's like,
yeah. So probably not Bane.
Everybody gets one. Tell him, Peter. Apparently everybody gets one. That is crazy, though. I mean,
well, right before that, it started because the crowd was already charged up. Somebody threw a flare out onto the field.
Well, that usually isn't a good sign.
Exactly, and then while they were cleaning that up, then all of a sudden this quadcopter comes in, and then the other team decides to run out there and take the flag down, which is, I don't know. I mean, at that point, it's too far.
Who carries a flare on them?
Have you ever been to Serbia or Albania?
No. Flares, get your flares here. Buy 3 for $1.
Yeah. Too bad they don't do that at OU games and Texas games.
So yeah, there's a video.
I know what I'm doing next OU.
Not
Texas
just one
game.
flare. There seem to be 2 flares being thrown out there. And yeah, the game gets called, and there's a drone attached. It looks like some kind of string with the flag. Oh, it had the flag around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like a big drone. I mean, like for the little quadcopters that they sell, that it's carrying a really huge flag.
It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have seen that old boxing match where the guy dropped into the actual boxing ring. It was like an open air boxing matches on ESPN, like back in the 80s, and a guy with a parachute just came crashing into the actual event. But
that probably was the inspiration for Fan Man from that Simpsons episode where
Yeah.
Mo has to rescue Homer.
Yeah.
so yeah, the flag came down. The opposing team seemed to grab the flag, and then the other team went and started fighting them. Which makes you wonder, football?
What are they getting next with those drones? Did you guys see the footage? I guess somebody flew a drone over England where they're shooting the new Star Wars film.
Whoa, no.
Yeah, they showed all kinds of cool stuff from aerial. I mean, like a half-built, what's that ship? That
The X-Wing?
Han Solo. No,
the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah, it
Falcon?
showed like a half-built.
Falcon.
That was pretty neat.
J.J. Abrams, get control of your droids, dude.
These are the droids you're looking for. But I know it's crazy. Like anybody can have a drone. I know a few people we work with own some drones that they shoot for aerial footage. But
yeah, they use them professionally. But you got these kids out here that just want a drone because it's cool to have, and then
it'd be cool to have.
next thing you know, they're flying flags over Serbia.
Causing sectarian violence.
I actually remember this past Northern Music Festival, I saw Dear People perform, and I guess the local photographer, Doug Schwartz, had this, he put his camera on this drone, and it was flying above the crowd, so he could take pictures of Dear People as they were playing. But everyone was just looking above them like, what's going on here? And they were like freaking out. And, Northern Music Festival, who knows what everyone is on during that time, so it must have been really horrifying.
Well, drones are kind
It's
of
the
entrancing. Like you see one and everybody's like, "Wow, what is it doing?" It's kind of one of those things like you don't see them that often, but you're starting to actually see them now, and it's almost some people.
Actually, seeing an article where like people are starting to hire people drones for their weddings and stuff. I know. I'm like now like when it's in a wedding, you know.
Honey, we're hiring a drone. Now would be a nice time to tell me if you're a member of Al Qaeda.
Yeah, we're gonna have a drone ring boy.
And that's also
A ring drone.
I'm curious as how Amazon and their little drones are going to work out.
The delivery drones?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm still waiting on my wire box set I bought off eBay to arrive, and it's been like 2 weeks, so a drone might be nice in my neighborhood.
I'm just curious if they see those drones and then other people have their drones, they're going to fight drone battles. We're going to take this down.
Instead of paintball, it's drone
Do you guys remember that show,
battles.
Robot Wars or something?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, BattleBots!
BattleBots,
Yes!
that's it. They make their own BattleBot drones with little, like, saws and axes.
Dude,
and
I always thought that was cool.
it was a cool show. They had little fire pits and saws, and I just picture that's what the drones are going to be, and they're going to attack the Amazon drones.
People just fill the sky with barrage balloons and circular saws.
Shooting flares.
Yep. Flying flags.
Well, that's not the only thing flying. It seems to be. Our next story takes us all the way to space. This is a more popular story, and one of the reasons for having such common stories this week is we might have a slight interruption in our program, so I thought I'd keep it short to make room for that interruption. However, everything that you know about the space program has gone to the Air Force. So the U.S. Air Force mini robotic space plane called the X-37B is reportedly came home touchdown yesterday. The question was, when was it launched and what the heck was it doing up there? I mean, have you guys seen that? It's a picture. It looks like a little space shuttle.
I haven't seen it, no.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they're it's posted to our Facebook now.
Okay.
If you guys want to take a look, any of our listeners
Oh
out there.
wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they don't know exactly what it's doing, although they said it's been up there for 22 months.
And we
It's
just
kind of
spent-
late to
we-
let us know about it, guys.
Oh yeah, it's been up for almost
Exactly.
2 years.
Exactly.
It looks kind of cheaply made.
So probably whatever it was meant to do, it's already done, and nobody can say anything.
It looks
about
like it's covered in duct tape.
It kinda
All
does.
this looks like duct tape. Oh wow, that is an interesting little device.
Yeah, and by the way, our news today was brought to us by Motherboard. It's from Vices.com's news technology site. So make sure you guys go check them out.
God, it's kind of annoying that the NASA budget has gotten gutted so far that the Air Force is now responsible for putting things into outer space.
I remember when I was a kid, the space shuttle landed at where I lived, and we all went out to go see it. It was really cool. It was like on top of an airplane, a little tiny. It's a lot smaller than you think it is.
The space shuttle?
Like space shuttles are a lot smaller than like airplanes.
I remember seeing that. That was just a really huge airplane.
Maybe.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that. They touched down here at Tinker. And
Yeah, they touched down.
that's back whenever like you could go to work with your parents at like top secret facility.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Tinker's not top secret.
Yeah, this is
but-
where all the nuclear bombs are at, Johnny. Don't push this button, or you
Hey,
could start a war.
I do remember riding around with my dad on his little shop cart, and he'd be like, "You see this field right here? Like it's all taped off, and if you walk on it, like the what is it? Security SPs, the security patrol. He's like, we'll come out here and with their M16s, and it says no walking. He's like, these are probably where the missiles are. I'm like, I remember it was weird being on Tinker Air Force Base, man, as a kid, because they'd tell you fill your head full of all kinds of wonderful mysteries.
I remember going to an Air Force base in Minot, North Dakota, and apparently that's where all the nukes are actually at. And there'd be like these little like silos that would open up like in the floor, concrete. I'm like, wow. One guy messes up, and it could be all of us.
I don't know if I could ever push that button.
Would you like to play a game?
Not really. I'm cool, thanks. But
North Dakota.
Don't
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Actually, Tim's brother, who is one of my best friends of all time, is a North Dakota native by virtue of the Minot Air Force Base.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
And I went to North Dakota a few years back, and just not a whole lot happening up there.
Not. I mean, it's cheap to live. It's one. I think it's voted number 1 in cheapest states to live in.
Like I think the thing I heard, like either North Dakota and or South Dakota. Well, I definitely know North Dakota is they'll actually give you money, like for a house or something, if you move there and
Oh.
work. So, which I don't want. I've never taken up that offer. It's like, when I was up there, the hippest thing that I came across was a mall where on one side was a Kmart and the other side was a Little Caesars. So.
Oh, that is funny.
Mhm.
I've been there. I know exactly which one you're talking about. That is funny.
Please
Yeah.
don't keep going to Canada. We'll give you money to stop right here.
When I was moving back from Alaska, we drove through Canada to North Dakota, and we got to the border crossing, and the American Border Patrol had very thick North Dakotan accents. So we give him our passports, and the guy goes, "What's your reason for coming to the United States?" Oh yeah, that kind of accent. And then we get through, and my mom goes, "Why in the heck are the Canadians telling us how to get into our own country?" And I go, "Mom, they're North Dakotans. They have really thick, don't you know, kind of accent. We're Minnesota, Wisconsin, all that." Well, what's your reason for coming to the United States?
I feel a Pletz correction there.
Oh,
Let's look.
He's from
Let's-
Michigan. That doesn't count.
Don't you know?
That's don't you know? It's like Fargo,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, not dissing anybody from North Dakota, Wisconsin, Michigan, any of those places. You guys are the heart and soul of cold.
The border guard talking to you was Mr. Numbers, and the guy behind him was Mr. Wrench.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny too when we went from Alaska to the Canadian border. My brother just goes, "There's no black people in Canada," and the border guard was black. The first guy we saw in Canada. I was like, Kyle,
Did you learn nothing from Degrassi?
I know that Justin Bieber is on the list of being deported according to the White House petition website. He's like listed number 3. I think number 1 and number 2 is to one is like acknowledge the Muslim Brotherhood as terrorist organization, and 2 is to like capture Edward Snowden, and then 3rd is deport Justin Bieber. Last time I checked, it was like 400,000.
Dude, and if you
votes.
think about it, like if us as Americans went to another country and acted a fool, regardless whether we had money or not, like we would get deported. You go
Oh,
to Mexico,
At
and
least.
you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, that guy
Well,
needs to be
yet again,
deported.
if we had enough money to bribe everybody in those countries, we might be able to stay.
You don't have no money. To
Oh,
do
they'd
it.
just get you kidnapped if you had that
Exactly.
kind of money.
Exactly.
You got a point there.
Yeah. Be mailing fingers back. They deport you finger by finger to the United States.
Yeah. Yes. Well, this is an interesting looking space shuttle.
That was that's actually how they sent it up there. I
Oh,
believe.
Yeah, it looks like it's got like an outer shell.
Yeah, and it's smaller, it uses less fuel, and I believe that they're gonna actually start to send passengers up with that thing.
They've been saying that for years now. That people, like individual private citizens, will have the right or the ability.
No, these will be like your astronauts, and like it'll all be flown by wire, satellites and whatnot. I don't know. That's the speculation on it. Again, you guys can see what we're talking about if you click on the link.
It's actually really cool. You should go check it out on our Facebook, facebook.com/thisandthatwire. Make sure also, if you're not listening to us on one of our sites, wire.ou.edu, wire.ou.edu. Also, we have livestream.com/thewireou, but we highly recommend you guys to download the TuneIn Radio app on your smartphone, or you can go on tunein.com. Search in the search bar your student radio. You will find The Wire. We have members of Speak Memory, Tim and Cameron, on. They've
Howdy.
been talking about cool things about. I guess we never really got to talk about nuclear bomb disarmament, but we did talk about nuclear bombs
It's true.
and advanced nuclear physics. I don't think you guys know anything about that, do you?
Well,
I mean, I've picked some up, but that's mostly radiation poisoning. So
Oh, lovely.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry, man.
Cameron smash.
Always.
Come on.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get hassled more by Tim for being a little late today.
He's like, if you want to come, it's fine. Just take your time. But yeah. So I think we're gonna go to a little break for right now, and then we will talk about some things awesome, some things amazing. You are listening to This and That on the Wire, your student radio.
I knew it.
Ah.
See what you do? See
We
what
had to
happens?
click. We had to click it with the mouse, or we had to press A to do it.
Hold on a minute.
Give it a
Pause
sec.
that.
It's gonna come back. It's
Hold
gonna
on.
come back any second now.
No, I want to go out to.
There we go. Oh,
Oops.
see.
Wrong one, right?
Mm-hmm. We just listened to this song.
Play it again, Sam.
You know what? Hold on. Hold on. I want to take us out to some. How do you make it stop?
You press the pause button.
Well, we're figuring this out.
Okay, no, here. I want to go out to some 360 music.
Okay.
So this is for all the Boomer Centers.
You're listening to This and That with Keegan
Let me just tell a story and I can make it really good.
and Jeremy
I'm covered in blood. The pig is dead on the ground.
on the Wire, your student radio.
That's always a great intro.
I like the pig in the blood. That's just people are like, what? And then you can start telling the story.
I like the whole the hissy you were throwing.
Let me just, yeah. So
Let me just tell a story. Come on.
So if you guys didn't know, Jeremy and I were in a class called Electronic Field Production, where we have to do like little like video pieces for our class. And we had to do one where we had to find someone who had a very like death gripping story. And Jeremy and I decided to kind of like easy way out and do each other. And I did a story about me walking into a moose.
Don't take that out of context, please.
Literally walked into a moose. And Jeremy did one where he was attacked by a wild boar.
Yeah,
and
it
chopped
was,
its
it was
head off
very,
with machete.
I didn't chop its head off. I hacked at the nape until it was.
You were covered in
paralyzed.
blood. The pig was dead on the ground.
The stuff you go through, in life, you never know.
Now I'm hungry.
Hey, ironically, I went back a couple days later to try to get the ham, and I mean, dude, it was a big pig, dude. Something had eaten it, probably the other pigs. Cause
Do you guys
they do
have any
that.
cool stories like that? Any like death, near death situations?
You know how weird things just happen to people.
Well, I mean, it's not so much a story as a bit of family history, but I'm from California originally. I was 4 years old, I want to say, when the San Francisco earthquake happened and stopped the World Series.
Yeah,
And we're coming up on the anniversary of that, which is
remember that.
kind of weird to be talking about. But I remember like the power shutting off in our house. We lived outside of Palo Alto, which is, for the uninformed listener, where the Stanford campus is. So we were definitely within the radius. And power went out. My father started swearing at the TV. And then the earthquake started. And that's my memory of that. And it apparently freaked my mom out so bad that she insisted that he take a transfer and move down to Southern California. And then she started going to night classes when we relocated at Cal State Northridge. And seriously, 2 years later, maybe, there was like a 6.6 magnitude earthquake in the valley. And its
Yeah.
epicenter was the Performing Arts Center of Cal State Northridge. So, good one, Mom.
It's
If
just
you're listening.
just following you everywhere. Huh?
Yeah,
And then you
and then I moved to Oklahoma.
Exactly.
There's earthquakes here, too.
Exactly.
Our earthquakes are kind of cute, but I'm sorry, guys.
You
They
know, I've
followed
only
me
felt
here.
the one, and I think that was in November 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
Oh, you're talking about the
where the whole place shook for like
well,
minutes,
that
forever
was,
for like 30
that was the day we
seconds.
played Texas A&M.
Yeah, and
right?
Yeah.
Kirk Herbstreit was all like this with his eyes all wide, being
Oh, no,
interviewed
it-
on live
it was-
television.
It was in the evening.
Yeah, because he was being live. He was interviewed live on television, and they were asking him a question. His eyes go like opened up like this, and he didn't say anything. He's like, "Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry to say, we just had an earthquake here." And I remember I was at my friend's house that day, and I was in his bathroom, and I thought he was dancing. He's a heavier set guy. I thought he was dancing like Eric. Why are you dancing?
Dude, that's the only one I can honestly say I felt. I mean, like you hear it all the time on the news. They're like, "We just had an earthquake." I'm like, I haven't felt anything. But that was a wild one because I was sitting in my office and then my chair starts to shake, and we were on the second story of our apartment building, so it was kind of like the Jello effect. I mean, we were shaking even more, and I went outside, and all the neighbors were outside, and we all looked at each other like, "What do we do?" And nobody said anything to each other. We all just walked back inside.
Well, and you're not supposed to go outside. That's like the cardinal rule, because if like a wire comes loose from a utility pole, you're pretty much at ground zero out there.
Yeah.
I remember a big ordeal happening when I lived in Alaska my sophomore, junior year was volcanic ash volcano was set to erupt. Mount Redoubt, which is off the Aleutian Island chain, we were in a
Didn't that
ash
just erupt
warning.
not too long ago?
When I was there, it got erupted, but I don't think it has
There was
erupted.
one that
There's
erupted
one
not too
in
long ago.
Iceland. There's a few in Iceland that
Yeah,
have been doing
there's
that.
one off the
that-
Aleutian chain that went off.
This one was it
poof.
erupted, but luckily went
That's the sound of
over
it.
north, over most of Alaska. But people were wearing like masks, kind of like, I guess, like surgeon masks almost.
Oh, okay.
To keep your mouth clean, and it looked like snow, but it wasn't. It was very. I've never had to deal with anything like that before. We're on a volcano ash warning.
Hey, I'm not a prep or anything, but I just ordered me some of those little reusable masks in case the Ebola comes up here. It's
it had to
scary.
be Dallas
Scary.
of all places.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we
Had to be so close to
It had to be
Oklahoma.
so close, and then OU Texas. So I mean,
Well, on the bright side, I doubt that any Texas fans down there were mouth kissing OU fans after the game.
that's a very valid point.
Well, you know how they like to, but you know how they like to spit, you know.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they're like Ebola. Yep.
Oh, I actually got to put on the golden hat at work, and the trophy. You know, the trophy's got a little golden hat on it.
Yeah.
We had it in my office or in our boss's office over at my job over at Sooner Vision. We just took it off, took pictures of it, horns down. It's really cool. Something cool we can always say we did. But yeah, apparently somebody else got sick. So there's been like news of places elsewhere that are having Ebola. Like there was one in Anchorage where there was a teen that's supposed to have Ebola, which they ended up not having.
Yeah,
It's
well, I
just-
think the new cases are like a lack of the hospital not teaching them how to like tape up themselves and all that. I mean, that's why I'm wondering if there's going to be any lawsuits or anything like that. Over
Yeah,
this.
because it's a nurse who's the new infected case.
both
right?
of them. There's two of them. Both of
Two.
them. Both of them
Ah.
took care of the other guy. So it makes you wonder. Are our hospitals ready for it if it happens here?
And we haven't had an outbreak like since the 70s, right?
Since the AIDS,
Since the 80s,
yeah, 70s, 80s.
70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s.
Yep.
They
Magic
say it
Johnson.
may be the new AIDS.
Hey, speaking of AIDS, did you hear that?
That's a good segue.
Did you hear about what was it, Simpson? O.J. Simpson?
Does he have AIDS?
No, with this trainee who got out of prison said that they got out of prison and then they tested him and found out she had AIDS, and said that while she was in there the whole time that was her man, which was OJ. So OJ may have AIDS. It's a maybe.
The juice is loose.
Exactly. The juice is tainted.
But don't worry, guys. He's working to find the real killer.
But if he would have done it, he would have
Yeah.
wrote a biography about how he would have done it.
I guess the glove fit.
If I did him/her.
So, you guys looking forward to the NFL? You guys big football fans?
Dude, To a degree.
It's hard to like the league after all the news this year.
It feels like this year's been bad for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson. Actually, my fantasy football team name is Adrian Peterson Switch Hits, like as a baseball terminology.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I went there.
Poor kiddos. I was actually at his first OU football game, like his debut as a player. And it's really weird to go from being like super elated that this basically mutant freak athlete is destroying other teams' defenses to being like, no, I don't know the guy. I've never heard of this Adrian Peterson person. Of course not. No, I don't support that. Why would you ask me that?
Same thing with Ray Rice. We got a bunch of guys suspended. I don't know. I feel like this is the year where people just finally noticed it.
Yeah.
Just took action.
No, I don't know. It's kind of like one of those things. It's like if you're good at something, people are going to find something to make you not look so good. You know, I mean, haters got to hate.
And there's always an agenda with sports, like ESPN.
Exactly. And
They
push
have
it
to
even
find
further.
stories. Johnny Manziel is a story all the time. Tim Tebow was a story all the time. I mean, let it go.
Well, they've got Luke Wilson cast to play Roger Goodell apparently in some upcoming movie about the NFL, and they're like having to deal with all of the head trauma. So I don't know how that's gonna go. If he's just gonna like take off one shoe and sit down in the middle of the Super Bowl or something, have a meltdown. Royal Tenenbaums, I'm dying here, guys.
I actually have not seen that movie.
What?
I know.
You have such a Johnny
Exactly.
mustache.
Exactly. Honestly,
I've
I would have
seen-
thought that you love that movie.
I've seen Grand Budapest Hotel and was it Moonrise Kingdom? I
Nothing
haven't.
to
I have
compare.
Wow.
not seen the Royal Tenenbaums.
You
need to-
Oh, man.
you need to
Dude,
spend some
exactly.
time, buddy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm
It's
not perfect.
No, it's,
No, you're not.
it'll do you good.
I do like his style of directing.
Yeah.
His very symmetric. Everything's like left to right, center, symmetry kind of ordeal. He usually has like narrators. It's
Anamorphic widescreen.
very colorful, very vivid colors.
Oh yeah. Well,
Royal Tenenbaums, he actually has a Alec Baldwin narrating throughout that film.
Yeah.
So if you like Alec
Uncredited.
Baldwin,
Yeah.
you know.
unfortunately, University of Texas alum Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
He was Texas.
Yeah, he was
Well,
Owen Wilson's
I'm done.
roommate.
Bye.
Owen and Luke Wilson and Wes Anderson all met at UT, which is shameful. On the bright side, there's not a lot of burnt orange in the Anderson catalog visually, so most of it's on the Fantastic Mr. Fox.
That makes sense. I haven't seen that one either.
Killing
I'm gonna
me.
dedicate my next movie spree to you guys.
You
I'm gonna
should.
watch every
You
Wes
should.
Anderson film, and I'm gonna tell you what I think about it. I'm gonna give you reviews. Ebert and Roper, 2 thumbs up, 4.5 stars, and the little like an amazing film, breathtaking. And I'm gonna be like, yes, Speak Memory, this is for you.
Dare to dream, man.
Speaking of movies, what was the last movie everyone's seen? Because I got a movie I want to talk about.
I think in theaters or in general.
Theaters, general.
You're not going to talk about more R. Kelly, are you? Because that movie is explicit.
Right now, I'm actually watching Goodbye Lenin, which is a German film. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Oh, yeah,
that's a
the
good film.
About when the wall
East
falls
Germany,
down,
yeah,
and his
mom is
tricks
like a
his mom
diehard
into-
commie.
Yeah, and he has to trick his mom into believing the wall still hasn't come down.
God, that was a good one.
That's
I
it.
loved
Yeah, it's a great movie. I'm rewatching that one, but I really want to see Interstellar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of his films. What's his name? I always forget his name.
Chris Nolan.
Christopher Nolan, Memento, The Prestige, Batman, Inception. What's the one? I mean, The Prestige threw me off. I was so mad at the end of that movie. Wolverine deserved to win.
Spoilers!
Wolverine.
The one guy you can't do spoilers with is Christopher Nolan.
I saw Gone Girl this past weekend.
Yeah, I've heard a
Oh.
lot of good
Yeah.
stuff about that. I heard the acting was great. I've heard
Like
everything.
I like David Fincher, but I would say this would be my favorite film of his since Zodiac.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Social Network was good, but I didn't get that tingly feeling at the end of the film.
You know, that's
so-
what I thought. I thought the exact same thing.
I mean, I guess David Fincher has pretty much come on record saying that he makes two types of things, and one is films and one is movies. And movies are more like, lightweight, kind of, not to say trifling, because nothing that he does with his, like, obsessive retakes of everything is ever trifling. But he considered The Social Network to be more of a movie, and, like, Gone Girl is his big, like, statement film, being like, yeah, I'm back. I'm still making 3-hour things.
I really want to see that. All my friends want to see that. But Interstellar just looks amazing. Like, I don't even know what it's about. That's how amazing it is. They don't really give you any of the real plot away. It's not one of those movies where it says, oh, here's the guy, here's the story, here's the conflict, and here's the resolution. But I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy fall because Paul Thomas Anderson's also putting out Inherent Vice around Thanksgiving with Joaquin Phoenix. I know Christina Hendricks, Joan from Mad Men, for those who don't know the name, is going to be in that. Yeah.
And Martin Short's in it.
Martin Short?
Martin
Yep.
Short, wow. The
last thing I saw him in was Arrested Development.
That's what I was going to just say. I just watched that episode the other day. Shoot me with the bullet. That's a great show. I love Arrested Development.
Oh my God, yeah.
And he's on the cast for the new show, Mulaney.
Mulaney?
Yeah.
Mulan.
Sorry,
The sitcom.
But I haven't seen it, but I want to because I heard like the beginning has Ice-T like voicing like, "Yo, you're watching Mulaney," taped in front of a live audience. So, in the Ice, I don't do a good Ice-T impersonation, so
I'm not going to hold you against that. If you want to call in on our show, the number is 405-325-WIRE. That again is 405-325-WIRE. We have Tim and Cameron from Speak Memory on talking about movies, music, everything in between. We talked about some news stories. We talked about a little bit of everything, a little bit of this. A little bit of that.
And that
Ethnically
325
inflammatory
wire.
drones.
Yeah, that 325 wire number is strictly for requests. So if you have some music that you wanted to hear, if we got it, we can try to play it for you.
And our very limited amount of music. If you say Speak Memory, we could probably play them for you.
If, for instance, you wanted to hear some Speak Memory, we might be able to do that for you.
But you'd have to be very nice to us and ask kindly. So let us know, 405-325-WIRE. That again is 405-325-WIRE. Make sure to follow Jeremy and I's individual Twitter pages. Jeremy is at JIV3. It's kind of easy to remember. I am at MEENAGH. That's Mina. Do you guys have Twitters?
Yes, I am at Cameron Ferguson, just all lowercase.
I am at Timothy L. Miller.
We got in on Twitter kind of early. We got to reserve our names.
And the band has a Speak Memory.
Yeah,
so,
we do.
If anyone wants to follow us, it is at Speak Memory OK.
And that's our Facebook page is facebook.com/speakmemoryok. Bandcamp and SoundCloud also have the same URL tags.
And we'll put all that on our page so people can link straight to it. So make sure you go check out the page of our show.
It's a
Always.
portal
And
to
please
everything.
give us a like. Give Speak
we
Memory a like.
We like those thumbs up, so do they.
It really helps our effort in becoming the very best,
And-
like no one ever was.
Did you notice that the post I pinned to the top of our page?
Which post?
Yeah, it says if you don't want to be swamped
Oh,
with all
yes,
our
yeah.
awesomeness, feel free to unfollow. But keep liking us, man. Keep the like going.
Yeah, we do
'cause-
tend to over flood people's pages with a lot of information. But if you could unfollow us, but
That's
keep
if
our
you-
like,
that way we
still
don't
appreciate it.
Yeah, because the like is what counts.
It's all about the LIKESs. It's all about the likes. So you're listening to This and That on the Wire. We have still a little bit more time left to go up. And we are going to take a little break right fast. This is another song by Speak Memory, Absent Within Skies. Hopefully it works like it always does.
Keegan and Jeremy on the wire. this and that. Listen online.
Stephen Thorne. Soul. His soul. Welcome back to This and That. Keegan me along with me, always Jeremy Deere. We have Tim and Cameron from Speak Memory on. And now is time for the greatest thing in the history of mankind. Beer of the week.
Wait. There we go.
Today's top story, Beer of the Week.
It's the beer of the week.
And I believe Cameron has a beer of the week today. Cameron, what is this beer that you keep telling me so much about?
I'm going to have to try it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a real fan of local craft, and so this is kind of a newer offering from a brewery that's been around a few years. It's Anthem Brewing Company out of Oklahoma City. They do a lot of cool stuff that's pretty Belgian-influenced, but still puts a nice local spin on things. And the beer in particular that I'm on right now, because it's starting to get cold outside, it's getting to be darker beer weather, is called Ouroboros Stout. It pours up pretty nearly black, but that gives you a good idea that it's got some, coffee, caramel, and dark chocolate notes to it. The cool thing about it is it's got a Belgian yeast that gives it a little bit of almost like a spicy quality before it finishes.
Hey, speaking of spicy quality, we have Jessica Aranda on the phone. Are you there, Jessica?
Yeah, I'm here.
And what was the name of your show?
The Alternative.
The Alternative. When does that play?
Yeah, well, it plays different stuff, really. It comes on 1 to 3 every Thursday, and actually I don't jump in until about 2. From 2 to 3, I play alternative music, all the good stuff. And from 1 to 2, you've got Natalie Ramsey DJing. She plays all kinds of stuff, everything from like Michael Jackson to 303 and stuff like that.
Well, what are you out doing today since you called our show and decided to put your 2 cents
Why'd
in?
you skip out of class on Monday, huh?
Hey, I didn't skip out of class. I was doing schoolwork. Would you count? Okay, and it was for that class. Would you count that as skipping?
You skipped class to do work for that class. That's kind of skipping class.
You could have different views on that.
I could, but will you be in class today?
Yes, I will be in class today.
Cool. That's all I really wanted to say. Carry on.
That's all you wanted to say?
Yeah, we were talking about beer of the week. What's your favorite beer of the week?
What's my favorite beer of the week? Does it have to be beer?
Yes.
It could be sarsaparilla.
It could be root beer.
Oh, root beer, really? Yeah, I'll go with root beer.
Which one? IBC, A&W?
IBC.
Oh,
Definitely.
man. Okay. We got to let you go.
What are you all, man?
I
It's
like
all
it.
about
I'm
A&W.
A&W, man.
Get those frosty
Come on.
mugs.
Frosty cold mug, freshly.
Yeah, but IBC has got that taste, A&W just tastes like, it tastes like it was, brewed to
Barks is
like it
pretty
was
good.
meant for a king. Yes, it was.
Mug is not good. Barks
Yeah.
is good.
Barks is good too. You don't like Barks?
Never had it.
Okay, bye.
I was trying to think.
All right. Thanks for calling.
You're the best.
no
Keep
problem.
on rocking with that rush.
Oh yeah. All right.
Oh,
now
yeah.
get out of here.
Later.
That was
Root beer.
Jessica Aranda. Make sure you check her show out at the time she said.
I really want that beer now.
Anyways, I'm sorry.
It's funny because you mentioned he's into beers at certain seasons.
And that's what I was just about to say.
Right.
I mean, it's because as it gets colder and chiller, it's nothing like a nice frothy beer and a nice cold icy day. You know?
Fully agreed.
I mean, I tend to go towards L's and Pilsners during the summer.
Yeah,
You know, but like when it comes to wintertime, I'm totally about some.
Get that liquid overcoat on.
For me personally, I've turned 21 this year, and I'm a lot younger than he is. But I'm into Belgians really.
Yeah.
But I don't. This is gonna be like my first actual winter for legal drinking. So hopefully that will actually amount to something good.
Well, yeah. It's winter. It always helps.
I am a fan. I mean, it's Belgians for me. Then it's lagers and then stouts.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with a lot of the local brew house stuff, but the oatmeal stout there I think is better than Guinness.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. It is.
We have another special guest.
Why
Part
did
of your band.
Ooh.
Oh,
JT called.
JT decided to call in and be part of the show. So, how's it going?
It's going well, man. Thanks for having me on. Sorry I couldn't be there.
Hey, man, it's cool. Like they were telling us that you're busy with work, and what is it that you do?
Actually, I work at Alliance Steel. I'm a copy room geek, but we've come up with a better name. I would like to say I'm a document processing technician. But basically, I make copies for the shop all day, which is really, really easy.
And what were some of your influences growing up and music wise?
Oh man, I started playing drums to like Nirvana and like Pearl Jam and stuff like that. My first 2 CDs ever were Dangerous and Thriller by Michael Jackson.
That is awesome.
And so I actually started singing a lot when I was really young, and Mom got me a drum set at 8, and I mean that was pretty much all she wrote from there. I just started playing music to everything, or playing drums to everything I could find, like Soundgarden and a bunch of grunge, 90s grunge, Motley Crue. I love Motley Crue.
Man, dude, you guys are like bringing back like my 90s life, dude. That's so cool, man. Like I'm totally relating to all of the music that you guys all 3 have said.
We are unbelievably old.
Dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I just celebrated my 30th, so I'm the old guy now in the band.
Well, I got 5 years on you guys, so
Oh, right on.
I'm the young guy of the band.
I know he's like Nirvana. Who is this
I've heard about them.
I
was
felt
like
Nirvana one time. I'm Pearl Jam.
Are we still talking about the beer of the week?
Yeah.
It always cues off somehow.
Yeah. No, it's great that you called in. We're glad to have you. That way we got the whole band, right? All 3 of you?
I know, man. It's I'm there in spirit.
Been missing you, baby.
At least you didn't show up 30 minutes late.
Oh, shut!
Oh God. Nice. I'm guessing that was Killer Cam.
Yes, it was.
Now tell them about my redeeming
He
qualities.
did. He hasn't. He redeemed it. He came back. He actually came, which is all that matters. But
Yeah, absolutely. Well, his pretty blue eyes. It's hard to stay mad at him,
Don't look. They'll get you.
can't look
Keegan.
away.
Uh-oh, Keegan's.
It's a good thing I'm a vampire, because otherwise mirrors would cost me hours.
True. Very true.
Do you like a specific beer? We're talking about beers right now.
Oh man, yeah. I used to drink a lot of like heavier alcohol content beers, like Omegang Brewery. They have like an Abbey style ale. That's like one of my favorites. They got a Hen Pen, which is like a saison.
What's the percentage on that?
The Hen Pen's like what? I think 8.
Oh
8.2.
wow! I'm gonna try
And
it.
the Omegang's like 8.9 or something like that. They also have like a 3 Philosophers, which is kind of getting into the whole barley wine stuff. It's like 11.9 or something. It's pretty stout. You only need about 2 or 3 or 4
Yeah.
or 5, I guess.
Yeah.
depending
2
on-
or 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I love a lot of microbrewery stuff.
Yeah, I haven't really got into the whole microbrewery stuff. I'm more of a Sam guy. I like their Irish Red because it's I think it's 7%. It might be
That's
7.3.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Only Irish Red I've ever had is, and this, I don't know if this is a good one or not, but Killian.
Oh, that's our beer. That's our beer every day at O'Connell's when we go
yeah,
there.
that's our O'Connell's go-to.
Oh,
It
word.
seems like every place every bar establishment whatnot I drink at. So I got my regulars, and that's our regular there.
Well, yeah.
That's what I always
Murphy's
heard at
does
the
a good
high low.
red if you guys want to branch out a little bit. I know they
Yeah.
have it over at the Abner on Main Street. So
Yeah,
It's a good place to
it's
go
a good
to.
place to go to. One of my favorites.
I just like things with alcohol content, period.
Yeah.
Beers are awesome. I've had to slow down on the liquors. My belly just does not appreciate it as much as my younger self did.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's where I'm getting it. That's the gut. It's all beer. It's not being lazy. It's not working out. It's just beer.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I got to stop drinking beer now.
Well, hey man, I guess we don't want to keep you away from work too long. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, man. Thanks so
Hey,
much
of
for
course.
calling in.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that way we
JT.
had the whole
Man,
band here.
Thank you guys for having me, and appreciate the letting me. I'm sorry you had to sit in there with those two all morning. But,
It's been a struggle.
we smell awful.
hey, well, thanks again, guys. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Hey,
Thanks.
you too.
Yep.
Take it easy.
Yep.
We also like to remind all of our viewers that if you do go out and drink, please drink and drive responsibly.
Drink and drive responsibly.
What?
Please.
Exactly. You gotta wait. You gotta start.
And
the
when I
PSA
mean that,
over.
I mean drink water. Don't drink alcohol.
Hey, curiously, a little FYI, did you know the way that the state law is written, open container can pertain to anything, non-alcoholic or alcoholic.
So don't drink water while you drive.
Exactly.
even.
I mean, if a cop really wanted to be a bad cop, you could give you a ticket for open container. And it reads on your record like you have an alcohol problem.
It was Sprite. I can assure you it was not alcohol. But here at OU, we have this cool program called Safe Ride. If you ever need a free taxi ride and you're an OU student, if you go to the Union, you stare straight at the radio booth there in the Union, you go out those doors, there's a little smaller building out in the courtyard. You go down there from between 12 to 7 during the week.
Yeah, it's actually part of the union. It's the student government office. The Student Government Association offices. They're located in the Conoco wing of the Oklahoma Memorial Union. It's just right west on the west end of the courtyard, room 181. You can pick them up Monday through Friday, noon to 7 p.m. You can pick up all three of your vouchers that you can get for the weekend because they're good for Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. So make sure you go check those out. Drink responsibly, even if you're doing it illegally as a minor. It's not about getting wasted, it's about having a good time. So just remember that.
And I actually used it myself. And what I would recommend you guys doing is if you actually use it, make sure to call your cab about 45 minutes to an hour before you plan on leaving. I once called them as soon as I was done. I was waiting for a long time. So
yeah,
make sure
you use them and give them plenty of time to get there because it takes a while because there's a lot of people that use the service because, hey, it's cheaper than a DUI. I mean, nobody can afford that.
It's also cheaper than getting attacked by an Uber driver with a hammer.
Or a Lyft driver with a mustache. So as the minutes chime down, we usually have a list of some sort here on the show. And because it's October and it's Halloween, we want to do something a little bit more spookier. So I have here the objects that 10 celebrities took with them to their graves.
Ooh.
So that should be a little bit interesting. Number one, we have Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, in his grave,
I knew this one.
has a flask of Jack Daniels.
Yep.
After a lifelong love affair with Jack, he took 2 fingers on ice with a splash of water. Sinatra's family thought it would be fitting to send old Blue Eyes off with a flask for the road. Rumor has that they also let him go with a roll of dimes, just in case he wanted to make some phone calls from the great beyond.
Safe Ride doesn't have a hearse service, do they?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Tony Curtis. I don't know who Tony Curtis is. Do you guys know who Tony Curtis is?
Yes.
He married Joan Rivers twice, I want to say.
Yep.
He has an iPhone with him. Tony Curtis' family may have had the same thought that Sinatra did. When the actor died in 2010, he was buried with his iPhone, a Stetson hat, driving gloves, and a copy of the book Anthony Adverse, the novel that inspired his stage name.
See, Anthony Adverse, that's more interesting than being buried with an iPhone. Where'd you get this list?
I got it on mentalfloss.com as I twiddle my mustache. Number 3, Humphrey Bogart had a golden whistle.
Golden.
In her 1944 movie debut, Lauren Bacall told Humphrey Bogart,
I hope it was a slide whistle.
"You know how to whistle, don't you, Steve? You just put your lips together and blow." Sometimes during this fabled love affair, Bogey gave Bacall a golden whistle charm to honor the meeting. When he died in 1957, the charm was buried with his ashes. That's interesting. I do remember that line, so that's actually a pretty interesting thing. Roald Dahl, the writer of Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Also the Fantastic Mr. Fox, to bring it full circle.
Oh, yeah, he did do that. This is interesting. Snooker cues, HB pencils, a power saw, chocolates, and red wine. Yes. Snooker cues, HB pencils, a power saw, chocolates, and red wine. When the children's author passed away in 1990, his family made sure that he took all of his favorite things with him. That included his favorite HB pencils, the instruments used to write nearly all his works, and power saw, chocolates, red wine, and snooker cues. He must have liked pool.
Or had a fear of being buried alive.
Power saw? That just doesn't make any sense.
Saw your way out of the grave, Rolled. We're waiting on you.
Leonard Bernstein, the famous music composer, had a copy of Alice in Wonderland. In addition to his baton and the score of Mahler's Fifth Symphony, Leonard Bernstein was buried with a copy of the book he always took with him on his travels, Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Huh, that's interesting. Do you know if you guys were to die, what you would want in with you in your grave?
Well, I plan on being cremated, so when that happens, I want Cameron and JT to smoke my ashes.
I plan on going out like a pharaoh, so even my living loved ones shall be buried with me.
That'd be cool.
And your cats?
Yeah, all my cats. Any kind of like mead or rudimentary beer that the peasants can work up for me. Cutlery.
You should be cremated with like a couple bottles of propane.
Yeah, and they're gonna bury me inside an actual Lufthansa jet that they'll then dig a massive grave out and bury the plane too.
With all your living relatives.
All my living relatives, all my snakes which are on a plane, everything.
Ronnie Van Zant from Lynyrd Skynyrd died with fishing poles and his trademark black hat.
You really had to do that after I said airplane, huh?
It was. I mean, we just sometimes we end up with great segues. For those of you who don't know, Lynyrd Skynyrd.
So, what would you be buried with, Keek? A mustache?
Probably. I don't even know. That's a good question. I'll have to wait till next week to answer that question.
Yeah.
Bela Lugosi, the original Dracula, actually was buried with a Dracula cape.
No, that is cool. What is a Grandpa Munster? I think he should be buried with a Dracula cape in makeup.
And Robert Patterson should too, with his little Twilight ordeal. Dracula cape.
Be an interesting set of instructions for the mortician. Like, make me look like a vampire, and then lower me gently into my grave.
Bob Marley, his red Gibson Les Paul guitar, and some marijuana. Though there seems to be some dispute as to what kind of guitar Marley was buried with, this first-hand account says that it was a red Les Paul. The same account says Marley's widow tucked a stack of ganja in with him before the casket was closed. Andy Warhol, the famous painter with all the little Campbell soups, some interview magazines, and a bottle of Estee Lauder perfume. I don't even understand what that is.
He definitely wanted to smell good.
Elizabeth Taylor had Richard Burton's last love letter to her.
I just knew he was going to say eyes.
Although Taylor and Burton's love affair were highly publicized and their love letters quoted in various biographies, this was one she kept to herself. Written 3 days before he died, Taylor received this note and when she arrived in the room from Burton's funeral, she kept it by her bedside for the rest of her life. It was buried with it at her request. What a depressing way to end the show, huh? But if I had to be buried with something cool, probably all my band T-shirts. Like, I have a weakness. I don't really buy clothes, but if I go to a concert and they're selling band T-shirts, I will go buy a band T-shirt. I got like 9 Rush T-shirts.
Dang.
I didn't see Rush 9 times. I wish I did, but I have like 5 Coheed and Cambria shirts. This Town Needs Guns shirt. You guys got any shirts? I'll buy one of your guys' shirts.
I was gonna say we'll let you know next time we're playing Norman for sure.
Yeah, we're working on the merch right now, but I was gonna say, like, as far as band T-shirts go, the last 2 I actually bought were from band. Well, actually, it was Cameron that bought them for me, but the last shirts that I got were bands that we played with, Frameworks and Comrades. So
yeah, I snagged a shirt off Save Us from the Archon.
Oh, you just went to that show?
Yeah.
Oh man, I wanted to go to that show. Oh man, I love Save Us from the Archon.
Oh yeah, they're great, and seeing them live is like a crazy experience, because like all that stuff that they're able to do on the recordings, they're able to do live, and seeing that
it's just so fast.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's always a bonus when the bands you like from afar turn out to be like cool people in person. So that was definitely the case when we talked to them after they were done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh man, it's just like, you gotta go listen to their music. Save Us from the Archon. It's just so fast and so technical. It's just so good.
It sounds like chaos, but it is not.
It's like a beautiful chaos.
Yeah, it's very highly organized chaos.
Like the songs are like 2.5 minutes, but they packing in enough punch for like a 5-minute song. Very technical, very, very, really good. I can't believe you guys went to. I was gonna go to that show.
Well, we were on that bill.
Yeah,
so.
we
you were on the bill.
Yeah, we opened for them.
Oh man,
That's awesome.
Yeah, VZDs is good about putting good bills together when they have out-of-towners in. So that's up in the city, guys, on Western Avenue. If you're ever inclined to make a trip, assuming that you, the listener, are in or around the OU campus.
Wait, VZDs is here?
No, VZDs is in the city.
Oh, I thought if you're ever in campus. I know
No.
Opolis is like the place here.
Right, Opolis and the Dope Chapel, and I mean, well, I'm assuming that you guys still have like the programming board put on concerts up here.
Yeah, we have a few. I mean, nothing really have you ever heard of the Pizza Thieves?
Oh yeah,
They played a show here last month.
Young Punkers. I believe one of them is from Lindsay, Oklahoma. Garrett. Actually, last time I talked to him was at VZDs. Let's bring it full circle, guys.
Man, I'll save us from the Archon. The only reason I didn't go is because nobody wanted to go with me. That's my only problem. But yet again, you meet a lot of cool people at these things, but at the same time, you want your friends to go. My friend said he was going to go, and he flaked out on me, and it was just so.
Well, next time there's a show in the city and you don't have friends that are reliable, come hang with Speak Memory.
Speak Memory. As always, you can go on our Facebook page. We have links to their stuff on there. We have their Bandcamp, and the album's only $4, which is really cool. You get 6 songs, and they're really, if you're into post-rock or if you're into local music, make sure to go over there and like that, guys. We're approaching the end of our show. Thanks so much for coming on, by the way. It really meant a lot that you guys came on our show to talk to us. Do you have any shout-outs you'd like to make out to anybody? Anything, any messages?
I guess anyone who's listening that's a fan of ours, thanks for listening. We appreciate the support, and just keep on the lookout for us. We're still going on for bigger and better things within the next year, and hope to keep on moving on up.
And that show on the 24th is actually in Norman Industrial Skate Park.
Yes, and the bands that we're playing with are 100 Ounces from California.
No way.
Way, dude.
What?
Yep. And
so we'll see.
And the Ocean Ton Trio from Japan.
Oh, so David is going to be in charge of this. You know, David?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's from, Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He brings in a lot of Japanese bands.
Right. The last time we played a show he put together, it was with the Azuki Washers.
I saw them, too.
Okay.
They were great. They were I can't even express how cool they were. They were a cool little band. That's awesome. Okay, I got to go to that show now.
Sweet.
So you'll see me there, hopefully. Knock on wood.
We can make fun of the skateboarders together if you come.
Or get run over by skateboarders.
Or
That's
get
not
run
very
over
fun.
by skateboarders.
So I think we're going to leave with one of your guys' songs. You guys have a request for one of the songs that you want us to play? That we've already played Selfish. We've already played Blue Jericatus, Lavender Skies, and Disappointment. So.
Oh, I don't know. Timmy, do you want to let the people hear Splenetic or Absent Within Skies?
It depends what mood. Because Absent Within Skies is like baby making music, and Splenetic's pound you in the face music.
Okay, well, let's send him out to Splenetic. I like watching fights on OU campus.
Let's see if that will work. All right, guys. Here is.
Are we leaving early?
Well, if the song ends and our time's up, so thanks to everybody who listened to our show today.
Hey, thank you, Speak Memory, for calling in and showing up early and late.
Next week we will have Limp Wizards on. They'll be here to talk about things amazing, things awesome. You have listened to This and That. Keegan Mina, along with me always, Jeremy Deere. We had Tim and Cameron from Speak Memory on. We're going to leave you with some Speak Memory. So thanks.
You're listening to This and That on The Wire. Join us next week, same time.
Hopefully this song works.
All the